practice. But the people I've talked to in Philadelphia are not really concerned. They feel like this is more camp fodder than any sort of real story. They've had several players out. A.J. Brown getting rest. Lane Johnson had a rest day. Landon Dickerson out for weeks. They've had some other offensive linemen that have been out. So the Eagles feel like once they get the ball rolling, once it's more September, October, they'll be fine. Saquon Barkley will be getting a gazillion touches, and all will be well in Philadelphia. But so far in camp, there have been some days where maybe it was not so crisp as they would like.
Jordan Mailata is one of those guys that keeps on getting reps in joint practices and in games. He went up against Myles Garrett in practice, and this is what he had to say. You can't apply what Myles does to anyone else. He's just a freak. And when Jordan Mailata is saying that, it just gives you an idea how good Myles Garrett is among all the defensive ends. Now, on the other side for the Browns and their offense, Shedeur Sanders will not play due to that oblique injury. And there's a lot of questions about that Browns quarterback room coming into tonight or today later on. What do we expect to see here with the Browns' approach?
Yeah, Kevin, for today, Dillon Gabriel is locked in for the start. That is confirmed from the team. I was hearing his hamstring injury was perking up. They just wanted to test him this morning, make sure he was good to go. You see Shedeur Sanders there. He will be out this week. Tyler Huntley, the veteran, will be the backup to Gabriel. So they have two quarterbacks today versus Philadelphia. Sanders got the extended look last week. The other rookie, Gabriel, will get a very hard look today to see what he can do and sort of answer the bell after Sanders balled out last week. And then that leaves week 3 of the preseason for some of the veterans to come back. Joe Flacco is expected to play. Kenny Pickett, who's had a hamstring, could get into action. And then Sanders, on that oblique, could perk up by late next week and potentially play. So as the Browns quarterback carousel turns, we have another round coming in the next 7 days for sure.
And by the way, Gabriel saw some action in that 11-on-11 joint practice against the Eagles on Thursday. Had a nice touchdown pass over the middle. So he's still getting reps in these joint practices. We'll see a lot more at 1 o'clock later on. Jeremy, thank you for the info. Let's continue this Browns conversation. Let's go to Ryan.
Yeah, NFL analyst Sam Acho with us now for more perspective on the Browns. Sam, we're going to see how Gabriel performs in this quarterback battle, but I got to tell you, I was in Cleveland last week. Everybody kept asking me, what do you think about Shedeur Sanders? What's happening with Shedeur Sanders? That's been all the talk. What do you think about Cleveland's management of this competition at quarterback so far?
I think that the competition is actually managing itself in Cleveland. Cleveland is trying to solve their quarterback issue. They drafted 2 quarterbacks in the last year's draft. They traded for Kenny Pickett. They signed Joe Flacco. Each of these quarterbacks has had an opportunity, but some of them are letting it slide away by being injured. We've heard the saying, you can't make the club in the tub. Shedeur Sanders shined last weekend, but now he's not able to back it up with another performance. Kenny Pickett is injured. He's trying to come back from an injury. Dillon Gabriel couldn't play. So what's happening now is that whoever gets a chance to not only be available and healthy, but star allows that competition to heat up even more. So I think it's going to be between Shedeur Sanders. If Dillon Gabriel does a good job, Kenny Pickett gets healthy, I think that the decision will actually make itself based off who's available.
Okay, and as Kevin mentioned, Sanders out for this upcoming preseason game with that oblique issue. We'll see what happens with Dillon Gabriel and Snoop Huntley. Okay, can't let you go without talking about the Eagles. They're looking to bring another title back to the great state of Pennsylvania. What will be the biggest hurdle to them doing just that?
It'll be the person who does backwards hurdles. It's Saquon Barkley and his health. That's my only concern about the Philadelphia Eagles. The reason why is this. I played for Vic Fangio for 4 years. The defense is not going to slow down. But Saquon Barkley is a big play type of running back. He is in a class of his own. Really him, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, right? He's a top 3 back. But if he's not healthy, if he's injured, it takes away the explosiveness of this offense. An offense that last year was #1 in rushing attempts in the entire NFL and last in pass attempts. So the health
today say, hey, what about Pittsburgh? Don't worry, Sam's going to hang out. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers and his impact in Pittsburgh. We don't forget about that other city in the state.
No.
Sam, thank you so much. We'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, let's move on.
His efficiency, I mean, Ben Johnson's come out publicly and said some things. Oh, he's not completing 70% of his passes. Like, he's holding him publicly accountable. You're seeing some other things that they want to do. They bolstered their offensive line. They added Christian Loveland in the draft. Luther Burden, an exciting second-round pick out of the University of Missouri, a wide receiver. So they got to get these pieces going. But again, a lot of the onus is going to be on the quarterback. We know it. First overall pick last year. So getting him this game action against